Hi, everybody. It's Deborah from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching my video today. Today's video is called Dealing with Grief Over the Loss of the Pet. And first of all, I want to say I'm so sorry. I do know what it's like. I do understand. I've lost several pets over the years, and I do understand that it is the same as losing a family member because pets are family. In today's video, I'm going to give you several tips to help you cope. I'm going to show you several ways that you can memorialize and remember your pet. And at the end, I'm going to have a free gift for you that I hope will bring you a lot of comfort. So again, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the video. I hope I can help you today. Let's go ahead and get into the video. We are on my website, PeopleLovingAnimals.com, and we're using this article today called Dealing with Grief Over the Loss of a Pet, Coping Tips and Comfort, and we're using this for today's video. I'm not going to read this article for you. I'm simply using it as a kind of a checkpoint or a template to guide us in our video today. I am going to give you the link to this article in the description box, and also anything that I recommend to you during this video and in this article, I'll give you all the links in the description box. So don't feel like you have to try to read this or try to write down links or anything. I'll have everything for you in the description box, including this article, okay? Now, like I said, losing a pet is like losing a family member. I've had even people tell me that they've grieved over the loss of their pet more than they've grieved over the loss of certain people. You know, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but it is a fact. You know, some people feel the same about animals as they do about people, and I happen to be one of those people. So I do understand that it is the same as losing any family member. Now, I personally lived alone for 13 years, and during that time, my pets, specifically one of my cats who lived for 20 years, she was my only friend and companion at times during those 13 years that I lived alone. And the fact that she lived 20 years, you know, I gotta say, there is no one in my life who has been with me for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? My parents, for example, both passed away several years ago. At the end of that cat's life, she was the only one in my life other than my siblings who had ever met my parents, like my current, you know, boyfriends and friends at that time. Like, do you know what I mean? She had been there with me for 20 years. She was there with me before I got married to my first husband. Do you know what I mean? It's 20 years is a big time span. So if that's not family, you know, I don't know what is. So let's go ahead and get into some real help for you here, okay? Coping with the loss of your pet. First of all, don't let anyone tell you how you should feel regarding the loss of your pet. Nobody should be telling you to move on. Nobody should be telling you to get over it. Everybody grieves in their own way, in their own time. You let yourself feel however you feel. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's okay to be angry about it. It's okay to cry or not cry, but it's also okay to laugh. It's also okay to find moments of joy, and it is okay to let go when you're ready. Okay, so you just don't worry about what anybody else is trying to tell you that you should be doing. You do what feels right to you. Reach out to others who have lost pets. Check out online message boards. And again, I'm giving you the link in this article if you go here and read it. I'm also going to give you these links in the description box for, there's a pet loss hotline, there's pet loss support groups, and another source is a website called petloss.com. If your friends and family members do not understand the grief of pet loss, find someone who does. A person who has also lost a beloved pet may better understand what you're going through. Now, I personally did this. That cat that I told you about that lived 20 years, her brother was a tomcat named Myron, and he lived to be 14 years ago. And I am telling you, when that cat died, I nearly fell off the shelf. I had lost pets before. I've lost pets since, but that particular loss, that it really upset me a lot. And I really had a hard time dealing with it. I was crying at work. I mean, I really had a hard time. Now, I ended up going on this website, petloss.com, and it's just a forum, you know, where you can chat with people and say, oh, geez, you know, I lost my cat. And what's funny about that is I ended up making a lifelong friend. This was several years ago that cat died, and I ended up befriending a woman named Laura who had lost her little dog. And she and I are still friends to this day. We made friends online, we kept in touch, and we've had a great friendship all along. So, you know, if the people around you in your life either don't understand, or if they're not helpful to you, or you're just looking to find somebody who really understands how you feel, go to these places and talk with other people who are going through what you go through, and you can all help each other, and you won't feel like you're so alone in it. I did it and it helped me a lot. Okay. Also, seek professional help if you need it. If your grief gets to the point where it is persistent and it is interfering with your ability to function, please speak with your doctor about getting help with depression. When my mother died back in 2005, I ended up taking an antidepressant for the first time in my life. And I'm so thankful for that. I felt like my grief was so intense and I was really having a hard time. And I remember one night being in bed and crying. You know, I had lost my mother, and I had the very real feeling that I was going to a dark place. Do you know what I mean? I could not cope with my feelings. And it doesn't matter if it's your mother, it doesn't matter if it's your beloved cat, it doesn't matter if it's your gerbil. Love is love. You know, and loss is loss. And so I went to my doctor, and thank God I spoke up and I went to my doctor and I said, I feel like I'm going to a bad place. I cannot cope. And he put me on a mild antidepressant. I was on it for 6 months, and I am telling you, I don't know what I would have done without it. It helped me through a very bad time. And I am not a doctor. I'm not saying that if you're in grief, you need drugs. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying if you feel like your grief is really persistent and you're really having a hard time, don't hesitate to go to your doctor and ask for help. Okay, because it might just be something temporary that you just need a little help to get through this particular time. Okay, so don't hesitate. Don't suffer more than you need to. Okay. You can also do things like rituals that can help with healing. A funeral can help you and your family members openly express your feelings, ignore people who think it's silly to hold a funeral for a pet, and do what feels right for you and your family. I personally think this is important for children. You know, it's hard for a kid to lose a pet and they don't really understand it and everything. And I think just going through the ritual of possibly having a burial, having some sort of little funeral, some sort of little service where maybe each person is allowed to say a few things about the pet, or maybe you pray together as a family about the pet. You know, it teaches children that pets are significant and they matter and they deserve respect. And it's also teaches children that having these sorts of rituals can help with healing. And I think that when you do that with your pets when your children are young, I just think it teaches them a respect for life, a respect for animals, and it teaches them a coping strategy that they can then use later in life when we, in all of us, inevitably lose more pets and we lose people that we love. So I think that's particularly important for healing. Also, you can create a legacy, preparing a memorial, planting a tree in memory of your pet, creating a photo album or a scrapbook, or just sharing memories that you enjoyed with your pet can create a legacy to celebrate their life. There is a place called Perfect Memorials. I'm going to give you the link to it and I'll take you to it here. They have a lot of things that you can purchase. They have pennants. They have urns for your pet's ashes. They have cremation jewelry. They have all kinds of things that you can purchase in memory of your pet. And I don't know, I just think that it helps. I think that it helps. I personally have had all my animals that I have lost cremated. I have not kept the ashes. It's not something that resonates with me. I've never done it, but my sister did. When she lost her German Shepherd, she had the dog cremated and kept her ashes, and she bought a special urn. The dog's name was Naomi, and she still has that urn, and it's very precious to her. So if that sort of thing helps you, then you should do it. Another recommendation I'm going to make for you is a website called personalizeddognecklaces.com. This is one of my websites. If you've been with me before, you know I am a full-time affiliate marketer. I do have several websites online, and this was one of them that I created to go along with peoplelovinganimals.com. And these are, you can either get sterling silver for, I think it's about $32, or you can get a 14 karat gold necklace. I think it's $144. Um, and it's the shape of your dog's breed and their name on it. So like, for example, here's the Boston Terrier. It's all organized by breed. Now this is for dogs only. Unfortunately, I don't have a website like this for cats, but I'm sure that you could find this sort of thing on the Pets Memorial site that I just gave you as well. But, you know, this is really nice. This is my boy Cagney, my Boston Terrier, who passed away. And so this is just a nice necklace. You can get it in different sizes, and it's the shape of the dog breed, and it has your dog's name on it. So that's just a nice thing that you can get to just memorialize your dog and to have something to remember and buy. And I personally think that also makes a nice gift if you have a friend or a family member who has lost their dog. If you were to present them with a sympathy card with a gift of the necklace with the dog's name engraved on it, I just think it's a really nice gift. So I'm going to give you the links to those two places too. But it can be something as simple as, like I said, plant a little tree in the backyard. Have your kids help you. Do a little scrapbook. You know, it can help. You know, the other thing too is that all of these coping strategies that I'm giving you in this video today, don't feel bad if you don't do these things. You know, don't say, oh, geez, you know, I got to plant a tree. I got to do a scrapbook. I got to buy a necklace. I got to have a funeral. I got to do all this stuff. You don't have to do any of it. I'm just giving you just some examples of things that you can do that might help you to deal with your grief. So you choose what resonates with you, but certainly, you know, don't feel like you have to do all these things. Also, look after yourself. The stress of losing a pet can really take a toll on your health. Any sort of grief can really take a toll on your health. During this difficult time, be sure to eat a healthy diet, get enough sleep, exercise regularly to help release endorphins and raise your serotonin, and drink plenty of water, especially if you're crying a lot so that you don't get dehydrated. I know that when you're in pain, it's hard to worry about yourself because you are so sad, but you're becoming ill is not going to help anything, and it'll only make your feeling bad even worse. So just try to take care of yourself. Okay. If you have other pets, try to maintain your normal routine. Surviving pets can also experience loss when another pet in the house dies, and they may become even more upset by your sorrow. So just try to maintain their daily routines as much as you can. Try to increase their exercise and play times, and not only will giving them extra love and attention help them, but it'll help you too. Okay, so just remember that, you know, the whole house is in grief, and that includes your other pets. So try to give them a little extra attention, and it'll help you too. You know, if all else fails, just pray and stay busy. I have found that for me, the best and only way for me to get through grief is to pray often, several times a day, and to keep busy. Just doing things to pass the time helps because as time passes, you feel better. I always say God heals us, whether we like it or not. Time does, in fact, heal things. The sting will lessen a little at a time, a little at a time, a little at a time. And so sometimes the only thing that we can do when we're in grief is to simply pass the time. It's like, I am not going to feel better today. Nothing is going to make me feel better today. All I can do is pass the time, and I know that it will feel a smidge less painful tomorrow, and a little less painful the next day, and a little less painful the next day, and it will begin to lessen. And sometimes the only thing that we can do is to simply pass the time. Fold laundry, go for a walk, go to the store, clean out your cupboards, clean out your desk at work. Staying busy really does help. I have found that going for walks is the most helpful. When I lost my little dachshund Taz, she's the one up in the corner here. She's like my little logo, my little wiener dog who I used as the logo on my website. I lost her back in 2016, and it hurt me so. You know, I grieve over the loss of every pet, but you know, sometimes it's just particularly hard, and I think that sometimes has a lot to do with what we're going through in our lives at the time that we lose a particular pet. You know, sometimes if you're having other difficulties at the same time, the loss of the pet during that time can be worse than the loss of a pet at another time. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it means we loved one pet any more than another, but when I lost that dachshund named Taz, I really was beside myself. And for the first few weeks, I was a walker, and I've always been a walker. I walk several miles a week, and the only thing that I could do was put my sneakers on and walk out the door. And I would say that to myself. I would wake up in the morning with the reality that I had lost her. And, you know, throughout the day, I would just be working, or I would be, you know, doing dishes or whatever, and boom, all of a sudden this wave of grief would come over me. And I have felt that in my life when I've lost anyone, whether it's been a pet or a family member. Grief comes in waves, and boy, doesn't it just about knock you over, you know, when you get that wave of grief. And I found at that time, whenever I would feel that wave of grief, I just said to myself, put your sneakers on, walk out the door. And it helped me so much, just putting my sneakers on and forcing myself walk out the door. And I would walk and just walk, and within a few minutes the serotonin level goes up, the endorphins go up, there is a physiological improvement in your being, and it does help you to feel better. Okay, so try to find that thing that you can force yourself to do when you're feeling that way. For me, like I said, it was put my sneakers on and go for a walk. Now, I want to share this poem with you. If you've ever heard of it, it's called The Rainbow Bridge, and I am going to go ahead and read it for you here, and I'm going to try like heck not to start crying, because if you've been here before, you know I'm quite a sap when it comes to the animals, and I can't help it. So I am going to read it to you because I think it's important, and also I'm going to give you a link to get a printable version of this poem in the description box of this video. So, in all the years I've been a pet owner, nothing has ever brought me more comfort during the loss of a pet than this poem. I actually came across this poem several years ago when I lost the cat who lived 20 years. When she passed away, her vet's office, who had been treating her for years because she had been around a while, they sent me a sympathy card. You know, sympathy for the loss of your pet, and everybody in the vet's office signed it. I was blown away by that. And inside the card was tucked this little poem. And ever since then, I typed out the poem, I saved it, and whenever I have a friend or a family member who loses a pet, I always go and I get them a sympathy card, and I mail it to them with this poem enclosed. And so I'm going to give you the link that you can go ahead and print this. If you've already heard it, I'm sorry for the repeat, but if you're here on this video, you probably do need to hear it. So please just relax for a minute. It's called The Rainbow Bridge. By the edge of a woods at the foot of a hill is a lush green meadow where all time stands still, where the friends of man and woman do run when their time on earth is over and done. For here, between this world and the next, is a place where each beloved creature finds rest. In this golden land they wait and they play till the rainbow bridge they cross over one day. No more do they suffer in pain or in sadness, for here they are whole, their lives filled with gladness. Their limbs are restored, their health is renewed, their bodies have healed with strength renewed. Sorry. They romp through the grass without even a care until one day they start and sniff in the air. All ears pricked forward, eyes dart front and back, then all of a sudden one breaks from the pack. For just at that instant their eyes have met, together again, both person and pet. They run to each other, these friends from long past. The time of their parting is over at last. The sadness they felt while they were apart has turned into joy once more in each heart. They embrace with love that will last forever, and then side by side they cross over together. So I knew I was going to cry. I'm sorry about it. Just happen to have Kleenex here. I anticipated this. So I have the authors of this poem here, and it just helps me so much. It just helps me so much, and I can't elaborate because I'm going to keep falling. But anyway, I hope that that helps you the way it helps me. And like I said, if you would like to have a printable version of this poem for yourself and also to share with others, I'm going to give you a link. You can go ahead and submit your email, and I'll send it to you. Okay. So I hope that that has helped you. And also in the article here, there's a link where you can give me your email and I'll send that to you. Okay. Now, books can help. Now, I'm sure there's all kinds of books about, I'm going to try to get rid of this Kleenex here. There's all kinds of books, obviously, on the subject of grief, and it doesn't have to be a book specifically about grieving the loss of a pet. It can be any book about suffering with grief because it is the same, whether it's a pet or whether it's a loved one. Now, I personally found this book by Sylvia Browne called All Pets Go to Heaven. I personally have found this very helpful. Again, when my mother passed away in 2005, I was quite beside myself, and a friend of mine recommended Sylvia Browne's books about the other side, and I'm giving you a link to her book called The Other Side. I don't know if you ever heard of Sylvia Browne. She's since passed away, but for several years she was famous psychic and medium, and she's written a lot of books about heaven and the afterlife and why we come here, and all these sorts of things. And even if you don't believe in that stuff, I do recommend the book because I found it to be just very comforting. I'm going to give you a link in this article and also in the description box if you would like to go ahead and get the book. I just want to read you, there's, if you go to this article, you're going to see there's a description of the book and um, some excerpts from the book, but I just want to read you this from her book. No matter how much pain and grief we suffer after the loss of a pet, we must go on, knowing that they, just like other loved ones who have passed over, will see us very soon. On the other side, there is no time as we know it. While it seems to us that we must wait years to see our loved ones again, to them it will only seem like a moment. Okay, and that's one of the things that I learned in dealing with the grief of when I lost my mother, was that, you know what, the loss is ours. The grief is ours, not theirs. My mother was in heaven, totally healed, you know, totally healed, totally blissful, totally joyful. It's only those of us who are left behind that are dealing with the loss and the grief. And the same is true for pets. They're okay. They're okay. They're bouncing around, they're running around, they are healed, they are happy. And you know what? They want us to be too, whether it's a person or whether it's a pet. They want us to be as well. I don't want to go on too long, but I'm just gonna share this with you because while I'm doing this video, anything that comes to my mind that I think might help even, even one person, sorry, I want to tell you. There's a place in New York State called Lilydale, and I'm gonna get another Kleenex. Uh, it's a community of spiritual mediums. They live there. And again, even if you don't believe in any of this stuff, just the whole thought of it, I think, is comforting. I personally do believe in mediums. But anyway, my girlfriend and I went to Lilydale, and you can have a reading with a medium while you're there. And they have all kinds of famous mediums. There's one named John Holland, for example. They have an auditorium there, and you can see a medium speak, and all these sorts of things. It's like a spiritual healing sort of place. And we went there, and we went to see one of the mediums speak live in the auditorium. Well, often at Lilydale, when any of the mediums are speaking, they'll point out people in the audience and they'll share a message from, that person's mother or whatever, they're mediums. Well, the medium during that presentation called on me, and I remember I was wearing a yellow shirt. It was summertime, and I was wearing I remember the shirt, it was a yellow shirt, and she said, you, and she was pointing, and she said, in the yellow shirt, and I said, oh, me, and she said, yes, you. And she said to me, I have never in all my years of mediumship seen a person with more dogs around them than you have. Now, isn't it funny that I went on to create a website called peoplelovinganimals.com? Anyway, she said that there was a whole bunch of dogs all around me and that they just followed me everywhere. And she said, I've never seen a person with the spirit of so many dogs. around you. And I had, at that point, a lot of dogs in my life, and I've since had even more dogs in my life. And I believe in past lives, so who knows how many dogs there might have been that were attached to me. But the message I want to share with you is, she said, they're doing circles and wagging their tails as they're around you. They're doing circles and wagging their tails. And she said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to tell you, lighten up. I was very upset at that time in my life, which was one of the reasons I was at Lilydale that day to begin with. I was looking for healing. I was looking for help with some of the things I was going through in my life. And that helped me so much, because she said, they're trying to tell you, wag your tail a little. It's okay to be joyful. It's okay to run in circles. And, so I just share that with you, because if you have a pet who has passed away, chances are they're trying to cheer you up. They're in pure bliss now. They're in spirit form. They're in pure bliss. And they want you to feel their joy. Okay, so I hope that helps. One more thing on the Sylvia Browne book, and one of the things that she said in her book, All Pets Go to Heaven, is love your pets. Sylvia believes there is a contract with God that reads, if you will take care of mine, I will take care of you. And I have always felt that about animals, that they are God's creation like any one of us. And I don't care if it's a dog, a cat, a squirrel, a rabbit, a snake. I don't care what it is. They are creatures of God just like us. And I do think that we should be taking care of them. And I do think that God rewards us for that. We don't take care of our animals to get a reward from God, but I do believe that I believe it pleases God when we take care of his beloved animals. I do. So I do recommend that book. It helped me. I'm going to give you a link to go ahead and buy that book. But like I said, it doesn't have to be that book. There are many books out there available to help you cope with grief. I would appreciate it if you would comment below and share any tips that you might be able to add on coping with the loss of the pet, because you're not going to be the only one watching this video. And so if you have any advice for anyone else on things that have helped you or that are helping you right now in dealing with the loss of your pet, please share them, because you know what? You never know which person reading those comments that has come to watch this video is going to be helped by your suggestion. So please go ahead and make a suggestion. I am going to share with you that you will get through this. I do want to express my heartfelt sympathy. I get it. I have been there. I know how it feels, but also know you will get through this. You will get through this. You just got to hang tough. You got to do the things that you can that help make you feel better. And if nothing else, like I said, just let the time pass and do things to pass the time. My mother always said, just say your prayers and keep on walking. All right. Sometimes that's all we can do, right? Sometimes that's all you can do. The days will pass. You will heal. You will feel better. Now, here's my little wiener dog, Taz. And when I wrote this article, I dedicated it to her. She passed away on May 3rd, 2016. And I write in the article, Mommy loves you, sweetheart. And here she is. This is funny. If you've been here before, you've heard me say the reason I chose this picture for my website is every week when I would vacuum, Taz would jump up here in this chair with her toys to protect her toys from the vacuum cleaner, and I would always say to her, "Have I ever sucked up your toys in the vacuum cleaner?" But she was a doll. Oh, she was such a doll. I loved her so. So I hope that this video has helped you. And again, I'm so sorry. And do you know what? One more thing I want to mention. Don't hesitate to go and get another pet. I have never said, like in the past, I've had, say, for example, a dog pass away or a cat pass away and say, oh, you need to get another dog, get another cat, as if my beloved pet can just be replaced. Did you know what I mean? I was almost like, what do you mean get another dog? What do you mean get another cat? They can't be replaced. And I'm not saying that they can be replaced, but, there's a couple of things about that. First of all, it does help. It really does help. And if you're in the position where you can afford to have a pet, where you've got enough time to devote to an animal, and your house is set up where you can have a pet, it does help. And you should have a pet, especially if you have kids. It will help them a lot to get another pet, okay? But also, you know what? sometimes I feel like I'm selfish when I think that way, because there are so many animals on this planet right now that are alive and living on this planet right now that are in desperate need of a home. All of the SPCAs all around the world are filled with animals living in a cage who need a home. There are so many, litters of kittens and litters of puppies that are born every day, and each of those animals, you know what? Let me put it to you this way. Doesn't matter how much we're grieving, that pet still is alive. These dogs and cats, they are alive. They have been born. They need a home. So I almost feel like it's selfish of me to say, well, I'm too sad. I'm too sad. I can't get another dog. That doesn't help the poor dog at the SPCA who's in desperate need of a home. Do you know what I mean? But again, don't rush it. Don't rush it. It's okay for you to take your time. It's okay for you to grieve the loss of your pet before you consider getting another pet. But just don't put it off. Okay? Just don't put it off. If you are in a position where you can provide a home for a pet, then you should provide a home for the pet. And guess what? They'll help you. They'll help you to heal, just like you're helping them by giving them a home. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking now. I hope so much that this video has helped you. A couple of things before we leave. First of all, if the video has helped you, please give it a like. It really helps YouTubers when you do that. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you on board. I'm trying to do a video at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, all about dogs and cats. Please visit my website, peoplelovinganimals.com. Also, I do give 10% to charities. I do make money with this website. I am an affiliate for not all of the things that I recommend to people on my website, but some of the things that I recommend to people, products and services, I do get a small commission on, and I give 10% of all of the commissions that I earn on peoplelovinganimals.com and also this YouTube channel to animal charities. And if you go to the homepage of my website, peoplelovinganimals.com, you'll see a list of the animal charities that I donate to. So I would appreciate it if you would share the website, share this video, share this YouTube channel with your friends and family members who have animals and who love pets and who love animals, because it is all for the support of animals, and trying to help people be better parents to their dog and cat, and trying to help people to deal with their animals and solve problems with their animals. And it's all about training and caring and just everything having to do with the love, support, and care of dogs and cats. So there's a lot of valuable information on the website. I've been doing this since 2013, and I'm sorry, 2015. So I will very much appreciate it if you would please share it with other people who love pets. If you go to the description box and you sign up, you give me your email to get the Rainbow Bridge poem, that's automatically going to put you on my dog lovers email list. I have a dog lovers email list and a cat lovers email list. And if you subscribe to them, about every week or so, you'll get a new article from People Loving Animals all about either dogs or cats. Okay. And it'll either be an article or a blog post or a video all about dogs or cats. So if you sign up for the Rainbow Bridge poem, that automatically subscribes you to the dog lovers list. And if you would also like to be on the cat lovers list, I'm going to give you a link in the description box if you'd like to be on both. Okay. So I invite you to go ahead and be a subscriber. I think you'll find it valuable, and hopefully there'll be a lot of help for you on any issues that you might be having with your cat or dog. So I'll shut up now. Again, thank you so much for visiting. My heartfelt sympathy. Hang tough. You're going to get through it. God bless you, okay? Again, my name is Deborah, and my website is peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.